God damn it. I was firing on all cylinders there. Oh, I was firing on all cylinders. God damn it. Well, hope you're all doing well. I'm not going to run it back. I'm not going to say everything that I just said. How's everyone doing? Hope you're all doing well. I said hi to all of the people who were here early, so consider that, you've already been said hi to. Oh, man, I'm struggling today. I've started to feel a little bit, when you can feel, like, illness coming on and your legs feel a little bit weak and wobbly. I feel like that. I don't know why. I hope I'm not getting ill again. Back-to-back weekends, that would suck. Vesper's here, good to see you. Good to see you. Big Ives as well, good to have you. Start the base colour of your halberdiers, Dave. Excellent stuff. No sound is what you get for not ranking Skaven higher. Is there a tier below F tier? I should see if I can put them in there. No sound. You said that Jack is here. Good to see you. Hass is here as well. How are we all doing on this fine Friday? SK tier. Sounds close to SKT. For those of you who follow League. I don't know if anyone here plays MOBAs or is interested in MOBAs at all. I'm a big fan of League of Legends. Been playing it for, I guess, 15 years now. God, that's a sad state of affairs, given that I'm only ever getting to plat. Don't play a lot of solo queue, that's my excuse. I'm going to stick with it. Where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. TI, the International, is on for Dota, which is the competing game, which is way more complex, and I have had that on in the background while I've been working today. Valonas, yes, I did. There's two Warriors of Chaos lists with KHORNE. I'm going to tell both of you to take the KHORNE out. Everyone knows Dota 2 is better. I don't think that's objectively true. I think they both have advantages and disadvantages, but there's a lot of tribalism to it, right? It's whichever one you play is the one that you stick around with. Yeah, I used to, and I'm dating myself here a little bit. About 8 years ago, I really enjoyed watching the newcomer stream that they did, and I don't think they've done it for like 6, 7, 8 years, something like that. It's a shame. Missed out on that. Missed out. Because it was good to watch and be like, they're explaining it in terms that I understand. Actually, Warcraft 3 is the best. You see, the problem is that's just not factually correct. I understand nostalgia has a strong effect. But we're now, like 20, 25 years on? More than that, probably. The amount of improvements that we've had since then. There's a lot of stuff that's objectively better, even if you might not enjoy it more. And it's okay to enjoy things that aren't necessarily, objectively the best thing. Pong's better. Can't believe you're all playing games in 3-dimension. I only play Snake. Only play Snake. What do we got running in the background? Oh, there we go. Let's stop that. Like Skaven. Yeah, absolutely. Nothing wrong with enjoying Skaven. Even though they're objectively in a little bit of a rough spot. Snake was a Nokia brick. And I got okay at Snake. I don't think I was anything. I was like, I don't know, 12, 14 whenever I got my first phone. What's your favourite character in Snake? Probably the Snake. Controversial choice there. Most people go for the little balls, but I quite like the Snake. Any Brett's list trying to beat Brett allegations? Brett allegations, nice. What are the Brett allegations? Not sure what a Brett allegation would be. Obviously, I'm playing Bretonians because I just showed a box full of peasants. Well, we can... Balls and Snakes doesn't sound particularly family-friendly. You are... Has a flavour. I am completely lost. I have no idea what you're trying to say. Balls and Snakes is the only person making it not family friendly is you, I think. There, you could make it family friendly, like that family friendly Adam Sandler comedy, of which I can't remember the name of. Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? Single player games. I don't really play any single player games. I quite like multiplayer games because if you play single player games, you have no sense of how well you're doing. Whereas when you play against other people, I find, at least for me, I'm more to uh driven to improve when I've got some like a metric to hold myself against. Nah, Stack, you've got it wrong. There's nothing wrong with enjoying Skaven right now. There is a lot wrong with Skaven right now. It doesn't make you wrong for enjoying them. And if you can enjoy them, you're probably a happier man than me. Finding joy in the simple. Val predicts my winter. Oh no. There's a group chat for the TSN arena events. Great group chat. I have it muted because there's like 100 messages a day or something, but I do read through it pretty frequently. The slander about me always getting second place has spread to that chat, and now it's Ed says playing single player games lets me cosplay as a competent video gamer, and playing Cathay lets you cosplay as a competent Warhammer player. I do feel the need to point out every time. I talk to Ed quite a lot. So this is within the bounds of the things that we can say to each other acceptably. Ever since someone got really upset at me making a joke at, someone who I, had spoken to a lot. Anyway. Don't mess with his Botan. Yeah. No, that's not the one. That's not the film I was thinking of. I was thinking of the one where it's all, the old classic video games come to life and it's aliens or something. I haven't watched it, but nothing beats the feeling of giving your all in an online game to get placed into the lowest bracket after calibration games. Man, I feel like I'm doing really well. You deserve to stop playing this game. Oh, no. The video game tells me I'm bad. I quite like video games in terms of they're a medium where you have to be this tall to ride. In that, if you're bad, you just might not get past a bit. This is not my routine, but I can't remember if it's a comedy bit or if someone just pointed out, a film doesn't stop halfway through and quiz you on, have you picked up the plot points? The book doesn't go, remind me who the 13 characters we've spoken to are already. But video games can be like, oh, too bad, so sad. You suck at this, you just have to stay here until you don't suck at this. I find that enjoyable to some degree. Martin says Pixels. Pixels, that's the one. Is it any good? Anyone watched it? I'm a sucker for kids' films. I don't really watch much in the way of media. I'm not going to say watching. I do have the Marvel universe on in the background while I work at the moment. I figured I'd put it on. I wanted some background noise. And I've seen most of the films, but not all of them. And I figured, you know what? I've got however many hours of work where I'm just sat at my desk. Why not have them running in chronological order? So I think the next one is the Black Widow film, which I haven't watched, which is why I stopped and was watching the TI today, or listening to the TI. I love how we've got the two extremes of an Adam Sandler film. It's meh, it's not bad. It's somewhere between a 4 and a 7. All right, let's talk about some Warhammer stuff then. Let's do some Warhammer. Now, there were a few people who had their list looked at, not last week, but the week before, which was the last stream, because obviously I was meant to be traveling down to Saffron, but I was ill, so I didn't go. But I didn't just then decide to start, put the stream on. I just slept, to be honest. So if you're not in because you've been missed off or because your list was looked at last week, my apologies. It's the classic suffering from success. It's nice to have the more lists than I can look at, but also I do feel a little bit guilty that some people don't get to have their list looked at, unfortunately. I think I'm gonna tweak how I've done it. Ed has built a bot that will collate the lists, and I think I'm just going to go to, if you want your list looked at going forwards, you need to submit the old world JSON file, just for ease of prep. Basically, it takes me about 6 or 7 minutes to submit each list, like to manually put them in. So having the JSONs there just cuts that down to 30 seconds of work, which is frees up a lot of time for me. Calamus are standing off to fix anyone's list you missed off. Yeah. Is it just going to be you should take 6 Balloon Cathay? Because that would fix it, to be fair. That would fix it. But let's start off with... Oh, for God's sakes. I've replaced... I've replaced the camera, so it's very obviously not the camera that's doing it. It's the PC, which is unfortunate because that's a lot harder to fix. I keep thinking that I've sorted it, and then it becomes unsorted, which is a real pain in the backside. Oh, what if the list is fine, but you can't roll dice fast enough? Well, in that case, you sign up for coaching, which is exactly what your opponent from this weekend, Ed, has done after not winning. So yeah, if you are interested in playing betterer, then feel free to go to Close Order Patron. I was going to say Close Order /Patron, but that's not how that works. Patreon.com/Close Order, where you can book individual coaching with me. What are the other things that I need to plug? Just thank you for being here, I think, honestly. I am slightly off my game today, but that's okay. Right, we're gonna go with Papa Wheelie's list because Papa Wheelie is having a private round robin tournament. So this seems like a fun one to start with. It's some Warriors of Chaos. I put the notes in, but I did cut out a little bit there just in terms of the amount of space that I've got. So my gaming group, the Frogadiers, are having a private round-robin tournament. I'd like to bring my boob snake model, and for giggles, I'm trying to make the most out of the demon sword. Big question is, am I better served with Forsaken, or trade them out for something like a tooled-up Shaggoth? You expect to play against Bretonnia, Tomb Kings, Orcs and Goblins, and Chaos Dwarves. I don't think the Shaggoth's going to do a lot into most of those matchups, unfortunately. So, I'm assuming this Chaos Lord is the boob snake model you're talking about, which is the old Slaanesh, riding a steed of Slaanesh. Quite a classic Jez Goodwin sculpt, if I remember correctly. So you've gone Demon Sword. I need to remind myself what the Demon Sword does. Oh, the camera's gone again? For God's sakes.
Make this to have for lunches during the week, and it takes like 5 minutes to put together.
Oh, I will.
A video from Liam, a fun nutritionist that keeps popping up in my YouTube shorts that just started playing. Let's close that. It was a recipe that I'm planning on making, but I can find that afterwards. There we go. All right, back. $5 minutes to put together what? Hold on. Who said 5 minutes? Did I say 5 minutes? Oh, I see. It's a salad, Vespa. It's yeah, beans, tomatoes, cucumbers, dressing, marinates. I used to run a kitchen, so it probably will take me about 5 minutes to cut some cucumbers, tomatoes, and assemble. Fairly competent in the kitchen, at least. Of course, it's beans. Of course, it's beans. Yeah. The magical fruit. Right. Okay, the demon sword's loaded. So, this is the one that gives you strength plus D3, so 6 to 8, AP minus 2, plus D3 extra attacks, strikes first, reroll 1s. No, natural 1s to hit. Okay, yeah. So you'll hit yourself, which is why you've got the Paymaster's coin. If you roll like 6 ones or something, you can get yourself out of that sticky situation. I guess Marcus Lanesh is thematic. You don't actually need it, and I know it would feel weird not to have it, but you've got strikes first anyway, so yeah, not having the +1 initiative doesn't really matter. Demonic Mount, extra arm. Oh, you're really going deep on this. Would I bother with extra arm? Probably not. What would I rather go with? Honestly, even just giving yourself like poison attack doesn't work with magic weapons. Forgot about that for a second. Demon Fleshes, you can't be wounded on 2s, right? Yeah. Dark Majesty is terror. I think we can shave points for the extra arm. I don't think it's necessary. Hoping for Battle Lust on the Sorcerer, Marcus for theme only. Yeah, we can leave the mark on, but I think we're going to drop the extra arm just in terms of 40 points for +1 attack is not great points efficiency when you're already rocking 6 to 8. Like, that 7th to 9th is not super exciting. Could make a great salad with an extra arm. Yeah, absolutely. When you lose a wound, you do damage. Yeah, there is. The Acid Ichor is fine. It's during a challenge only. He's probably not going to be losing a lot of wounds and challenges. Basically, the things that are going to wound him in combat, because he strikes first with 1,000,000 attacks. Oh, wait, hold on. You might be hurting yourself. That's a very good point, actually. Yeah, no, Vesper, that's... Yeah, okay. That's cute. Is it worth 15 points? Probably. Because... So what will happen is you can actually max out overkill in challenges better with this. So let's say you roll 9 attacks, you get 2 ones to hit, you do like a wound or 2 to yourself. You then get more hits on them at the same initiative step. That's quite funny. I like that. With more arms, does the salad take less time or more? Less. I'm thinking of the 4-armed chef from Future Armor. He looks like he cooks pretty quickly. Alright, Sorcerer Lord, Undivided, level 4, Chariot. So we're going full... What are the Dark Gods? That lets you take the signature spells, right? Yeah. I mean, are there multiple spells in here you super care about? I guess +1 toughness is nice. And then the magic missile, but looking to attach to the Dragon Ogres. The self-hits will spill out of the challenge onto the units attached to. Ah, yes. I guess they would, actually, just in terms of the Demon Sword. But don't they have something on here stops you from being able to charge join them? No, I'm talking about my backside. I thought there was a reason you couldn't join Dragon Ogres, but I think I'm just making that up. Yeah, it's not immune to psychology that stops you. It's the other one. Unbreakable. Okay, talking about my backside. So this is fine. This wizard, Chariot, Undivided, Dark Magic. This is fine. I'd like to see a Ruby Ring of Ruin on there, I think. How do we make that happen? I think, honestly, like, the tome doesn't feel like it's super worthwhile. Just spend the 10 points to become Mark of Zinch and get the magic missile, and I wouldn't really worry about the rest of them. That's probably how I'd go with that. Mark of Zinch. You do have to pay twice, which is, I guess, a downside, but it's probably still better to do that than to... Yeah. Yeah, okay, that works. Or you could just go Lore Familiar. No, because then you can't take the signature spells. Okay. Exalted Champion, BSB, no banner. Ooh. Halberd, Heavy Armor, On Foot, Carrying Crow, Brazen Collar, Favor of the Gods, Enchanting Aura. Yeah, so this is joining the Warriors, right? I mean, for the sake of it, War Banner? You've got War Banner there. I definitely would like to see Icon of Darkness. Although you said which armies you'd be playing against, right? Brats, Tomb Kings, Orcs, and Goblins, Chaos Dwarves. Okay, that Icon of Darkness not going to do a huge amount, so let's just leave that one off. I do like the Marcus Lanesh halberds that, you know, you're striking at initiative 5, they're striking at initiative 4 because of strikes last. Cool, 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 cool. 5 Dragon Ogres with the character, that's fine. These are just solid. It's a big unit. Is he on is the demonic mount a 50 by 75? Yeah, okay, so he fits into the unit perfectly. Okay. I like that a little bit more, actually. I was thinking he was going to be sat in the end, but putting him in the middle is better. Okay, cool. Great unit here, Taskmaster's Scourge. I would like to see Magic Resist on there as well, but you've got Magic Resist on there already. Neat. Cool. War Banner, Halberds, Shields, good stuff. Yep, that's great. These Marauders are... I don't think you can take Skirmish and Open Order, can you? That'd be crazy. Let's have a look here. Marauders. Pretty sure it's a replace. It doesn't say on here. Yeah, no, I'm fairly certain that it's a replace. You can't take both of these because you're replacing the close order with one of the two of them. So I guess you're just taking skirmishers instead. If you're taking skirmishers, do you need a standard Baron Musician? 20? I don't think I want skirmishers on a brick that big, honestly. Yeah, I think just keeping it close order probably makes the most sense. Give them light armor. Oh, you've got great weapons? I wouldn't bother, honestly. Like, they're not going to hit anything, ever. For the same points of the great weapon, if you just go light armor shield, you'll get value out of them being tanky. I can't see them actually ever doing anything with great weapons, unfortunately. They'll get charged. They're T3 with no armor save. They die immediately. Then no attacks are made. Everyone's sad. This unit with the flails. This unit I could, you know, this is where I do like Mark of Khorne. You don't have to go Mark of Khorne, but you actually get a lot of output out of them when you get that second attack per base. The Warhound's good. Model restrictions, why great weapons. Well, I'm going to leave it as is, because it's the same points. If you want to tweak it back, you can do. I would just tell them that you're playing them specifically as hand weapon shields, if that's okay in your play group. Forsaken are a fun one. I don't know that I love them. I think they're interesting, though. I think they're worth playing around with, and I'd probably just go Forsaken by Khorne. Like, yes, they take a little bit longer to get there, but you actually do damage in combat. Hatred to all enemies is really strong. Yeah, so then we just need to find 7 points on the list to shave. As funny as it is, I think the easiest thing to do is to just drop the Acid Ica. I don't really want to reduce the size of any of these squads here. I'd rather put an extra Marauder in, something like that. Yeah, something along those lines. Also, Frogadiers. Do you not have to have the Power Scroll, the Frog Scroll, in every list? Am I wrong with that? Corner slash together. What's the chaos version of blasphemy? I think it's just still blasphemy. But yeah, cool. All right. Well, we are 1 Warriors of Chaos list down. There's a lot of Warriors of Chaos. I think there's 3 Warriors of Chaos, and I think it's one of each. There's a Heralds of Darkness, there's a Wolves of the Sea, and there was a regular. Oh no, there's 2 Wolves of the Sea. But let's do something different. Let's go somewhere a little bit different. I see Vesper in the chat as well. Vesper was wanting feedback on some Dark Elves. As much as I like the Doomfire Warlocks, 58% chance of casting never sat well with me in an army that's already playing the odds with stupidity being what it is. So I want to make sure the Battle Lust will most likely go off when they need to. 10 cold ones might be a big investment. Don't know if it's too much. Stupidity goes play. You're left holding a big bag of excrement. That's the dark elf life. That is true. That is true. I want to play around more with more utility in the dark magic lore. I think Infernal but Gateway is interesting to position. Yep, that's true. Pegasus should be easy to hide behind screens like Cav. Yep. Which third spell to pick? I don't know. That's fair. Wanted a relatively cheap dragon with most banner for its book. Unsure if MR1 is enough. Probably ineffective. Cool. The Master has a Sea Dragon's Cloak. Disregarded as a mistake. Okay, so what have we got here? So we've gone for a dragon on its own. Okay. Okay. So, dragon, you've gone great weapon, full plate, shield, Pentatocalith, obsidian lodestone. I just go 2. Like, let's just go for a second one, right? Oh, 502 points. Bummer. Ooh. How much do I care about the armor save? Because we're going great weapon anyway. So maybe we just drop the shield. We're slightly worse against shooting, but we've got a 4 at ward save against things that matter anyway. I think I'd rather have MR2 than a 3 up armor save against specifically shooting, because we're going great weapon anyway. Yeah, that feels probably correct. Then we've got the Master, BSB Rampaging Banner. I do like a Rampaging Banner. Lance, Shield, Cold One. Yep. Charm, Shield, Ruby Ring of Ruin. No. This is a... When you've got so many points tied up in the Cold One Knights, you have to make sure you're getting value out of them. They have to be charging stuff. So we can't be stopping to cast spells with this model, unfortunately. When I was putting Ruby Ring of Ruin on my Cold One Knights, I was using them as like pseudo... third dragon / sorceresses, but it was only sort of like 280, 300 points investment, I think, something along those lines. Anyway, yes, so you're looking at almost 600 points. You don't want to have that with a Ruby Ring. Plus, previously I was taking it because even if you roll Stupidity, you can cast spells. Now you can't do that. So we're going to put the Ruby Ring of Ruin on this character. Okay. Hasbro Protection, Lore Familiar, Double Power Scroll. Is that necessary? I think we'll go 1 Power Scroll, Lore Familiar. Ruby Ring of Ruin. Just don't get shot. Don't put yourself in a position where you can take damage. Then a Focus Familiar. Have we got points for 2? No, just points for 1. Yeah, the Focus Familiar is really good. This is going to be much more valuable in making sure that you're able to position safely than the Talisman of Protection. So you can position more safely and still be within 12 inches of or within 24 inches of the Cold One Knights. So think of that 10-point item as a single, I just can't be killed because I've hidden my model and kept it safe. Yeah. Cool. Alright, so tweaked the characters there. Have we got magic resist? Yes, we've got magic resist here. I think on the basis that we have... Oh, you've got a shield, an additional shield on there you don't need. Let's put the obsidian lodestones here now that we've freed up the points, just because you're more likely to throw the unit champion away into a challenge. Banner of Hargoneth is correct. Obviously, that's just a good unit. Okay. I'm a little worried about needing buddies for the Dreadlord. I guess you've got the Dark Riders who can do it, but I don't love that. Oh, you also don't... What are these Dark Riders? They don't have any repeater crossbows. I disagree with that. And also, so I think Dark Riders, you want the Musician, you want the repeater crossbows. Fire and Flea's nice. It's kind of... It's not necessary, but it's good to have. And also go 8. The reason you go 8 is you want multiples of 4 in terms of panic. So they need to kill... When there's 7, if they kill 2 models, you take a panic test. If there's 8, they kill 3 models, you take a panic test. Also, if you get down to 2 models, say you take 6 casualties with 8, you don't give any points up. If you take 6 casualties with 7, you give up points. Their screens and just annoyances are rebelled against the crossbows. I think I would recommend always taking the crossbows. They will do like chip damage over the course of the game. Which does put us points over, but that's okay, because this unit here... Goodbye. Goodbye, Shades. Unfortunately, there's not a lot that you do. Oh, hold on. Let me just double check something. Were they there for ambushes? They were probably there for ambushes. Let me just double check in the... it was a JSON file. I'm assuming they were there for ambushes, in which case, yeah, they could probably go back in. An ambushing unit seems fine. Yeah, it does. Honestly, I don't think you'll get much out of them. Like, Shades just don't really do anything. So, like, they look like they should have good output, but it's not the hitting that's really the problem. It's the weapon they're holding. So 10 shots here hitting on 3s natively, but they're ambushing, so they're coming on, so they count as moving, so 4s natively. Just dropping the points here, and instead of having 5 ballistic skill 5 guns, you can have 24 ballistic skill 4, and that feels like a much more efficient use of the shootings. But yeah, I think this works out better, and then we still have 11 points. Is there anything that we're very clearly missing here? Oh, yeah, we don't need the Sea Dragon Cloak, you did say. You've got the shield already. So we've got 85 points. That means probably just... We've got musicians in here. Honestly, maybe just veteran. Like, making them more self-sufficient. Yeah, something like this, I think, does the job. I am a little bit worried about your output. I think not having double dragon is... I feel like you're missing a lot in terms of your potential output there. Regarding the Dark Elf army, buy right now before the 4% price increase, or wait until they're all repackaged in the old world. I'm at a point where I would not recommend to anyone to buy a legacy faction. I would just hold off on buying them as a faction entirely until they come back into the game properly, would be my advice there. Given that we're over halfway in a 3-year cycle. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, that is some Dark Elves and some sobering words. Let's just go from the top for a little bit. We've got some 1,500 or 1,500 points of X-Force. The rationale for this was having the Battle Lust go off. Yeah. They do hit hard. But they've got, lots of issues that I wouldn't rely on them as being one of the main damage sources. Like, I like having them as a tertiary damage source, so like double dragon and then Cold War Knights or something. Oh, for God's sakes. I don't think it's a camera problem because I've replaced the camera, so I think it must be a PC problem, which means it's going to be a lot harder for me to fix. There we go. Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it. Alright. So this is an interesting expeditionary force list. Burlock Davidson is the general. Good. Engineer Sapper. I don't mind this, but this is the bursting rune Thane, but on the engineer. I'd rather go a naked engineer and then also put the Thane in, who's got, the handgun, will give them the accuracy, rapid fire, and bursting flame. Like, on the face of it, it looks like they should be very similar, in that if you look at the engineer Sapper, they come in at a better ballistic skill. So, sure, they take shooting, penalties, but it doesn't matter as much because they've got high ballistic skill. In reality, the things that you're going to be shooting, you're going to be stacking negative modifiers on. So, partially obscured or in terrain for light cover, skirmishes, long range, multi-shots. Suddenly, the Sapper's hitting on 6s, so that doesn't really fit the bill. I am a famed hater of the gun that makes you stupid. I don't think it's worth doing. So this list, I think, I think there's some good bits to it. Burlet Downson's good. The Thunderers are pretty decent. I don't mind the Bugman's Cart, and the Scout Copters are solid as well. However, I wouldn't be taking Gyro Bombers. I mean, technically the list is illegal. You can only take 2 of them in rare. But I think Gyro Bombers are probably they're the worst version of the bombers, that the Gyros that you can take. So I just drop them entirely. If you wanted to go with single steam guns, like this is the way to go here, doing the single regular copters, which leaves you with a lot of points. And then I definitely put some more scout copters in as well. So probably just go like 3 units of 2 on the scout copters, and then 3 individual gyrocopters with steam guns if you wanted to go with those single pieces, which I still think is pretty decent. But then into core, you've gone triple Miner's Cart, and I don't think there's a reason to do that. One Bugman Cart I think is fine, but I'm not sure why you'd go with any other ones. Evening Goldfire. What website is this? This is Old World Builder. old-world-builder.com. They don't sponsor me. I just like their army builder. Oh yeah, remind people to like the stream. Of course, yeah. I've like I say, I'm a bit off the boil today. I'm not really doing anything. Oh, half of you have liked it already. But if you haven't already, would appreciate a thumbs up to the stream. Yada yada. I don't know why this list has any carts. I like the Bugman's Cart. It gives you a little bit more flexibility. And for 65 points, it's decent. And you can use it to give your unit pseudo Nakaran phalanx. So you can just, assuming that you don't lose the combat by a lot, because there's a decent amount of combat resin here. Not a lot, but like a decent amount. You can just put the cart behind the Thunderers, and when they go to give ground, they just don't move at all. Alright, later, Vesper. Or dislike the stream, you're a YouTuber and engagement is engagement. I don't think that's how that works. I hope it's not how that works. I wouldn't mind a second organ gun, honestly. Like, if we're just going full gun line, like, double organ gun here feels pretty decent. You probably actually want ways to deal with big stuff, which is cannons, and the cannons aren't actually going to do that well. Hey... Maybe we go double cannon. One with... it's forging's the best one, isn't it? Forging, yeah, reroll a single misfire. And then the second one we go with... forging and reloading. And then we put in a cheap engineer as well. Like so. Who's got, I guess, a handgun? We don't need to give them anything else. This feels... fine. Like, something like this, I think, works out quite well. I don't know that you need the third gyrocopter. You did have a lot of them, but let's move this one down. And then, if we're only going 1 unit, something like 21. The problem with this style of list is it's very hard to spend those last few points. So, if you're going for this, is there anything that we want to put on them anyway? Rune of Molten Steel. Is that the flaming attacks? I mean, Rune of Rapid Fire is not awful. Just for a second shot here, and then we're 5 points over because, of course, we can drop the musician off. I think something like this works well. I think X-Force is an interesting beast, and you gotta basically just squeeze as much ranged firepower out of it as possible. So we have gone very heavy on the guns there. Oh no. There's 2 people with the same name on this Discord. Ooh. I'm going to have to scroll up and see what their thing is. It's the pink avatar. Okay. Neat. Neat. Pretty sure any invasion... I can't remember if I've read it in my head. Paul's about something, it all helps. Yeah, that's true. No Rangers Fields of Mist. Yeah, Rangers would be good. But I think I'd rather just have more mobile pieces and more artillery. And like at 2,000 points where you go, oh, I can't have any more scout copters. This is where I'd probably put the Rangers in. Would be my my recommendation. Because it's a smaller size list. Alright, we got Goldfire's list. Now, Goldfire came up with an interesting list concept in the VIP channel. which if you are a channel member of Longbeard or above, you make sure you post in the Needs Roll channel on Discord, and I will add your role, and you'll be able to come in and talk absolute bollocks with us, which is what we do typically. So, he was looking at the WTC lists and noticed that it was taken by the Shaggoth. Because the Shaggoth is from the Beastman book, it takes magic items from the Beastman book, and used the Chalice of Dark Rain to build a Wolves of the Sea list, so you're usually going to be going first, and then you combine that with the Chalice, so you turn off all their war machine shooting on their turn 1, and also lowers the range of their ballistic skill shooting. So just makes it really difficult for ranged lists to play into, and I think that's an interesting concept that should be explored more. So let's have a look at that one. Let's have a look at it. So we've got the first thing here, Chaos Lord, Exalted Champion, both of them on dragons. We'll talk about marks in a second. I think I'm a bigger fan of double Exalted Champion. I think I'd rather go... I know you lose a little bit of output from the Chaos Lord down to the the Exalted Champion, and you lose a point of toughness, but being able to get magic resist and a regen on there, I think more than makes up for it. So I'm just going to tweak this over to another Exalted Champion. I really like great weapons on my Chaos Dragons because you don't have strikes first, which means that you are strikes last, and instead of having 4 or 5 attacks with the Lord of the Dragon, you actually get to make, the Lord of the Champion, you get to make 6 attacks with the Chaos Dragon. So if you're locked in a challenge, you're always just going to be a little bit more efficient there. This one, tweak this over to Crown of Everlasting Conquest. We may as well give it a third Favour of the Gods as well. Marks, I don't think KHORNE is ever really worth it outside of some very niche situations. So I really like the Mark of Nurgle for dragons. Hey, thank you, Sek. Muchos apreciado. Just so I don't forget, please do post on Discord in the Needs Roll channel, and I will, after stream, apply your VIP role so you can come and, as I said, talk bollocks. So we've got the double dragon here, and these are pretty tanky. Mark of Nurgle to make you reroll 6 to hit in combat. Triple save. Otherwise, just beefy. Green on Nurgle corners, just thematic. Fair. That's fair. Shaggoth here, great weapon, heavy armor, Chalice of Dark Rain, and then you have to take a Dragon Ogre as well. So having it with the black and plate. The reason you have to take a Dragon Ogre is the Shaggoth is not 1 per unit of Dragon Ogres, which I'd forgotten, to be honest. Is there anything in here that we want to... I don't think there's anything in here. There's nothing in here that's, like, super easy to put on to make the character tanky. Yeah, it's... Yeah. I'd love to give it -1 to be shot or something like that, but to be honest, it's going to be cannonballs that kill it. But you don't care because you're going to turn off the cannonballs and just full send towards them. To avoid terror test. Never mind, terror since he causes terror. Ha-ha! Ha-ha. Okay. The 5 Chaos Warriors. This is a pretty standard setup. I think, given, like, so this is good. This is objectively good. I think given the setup, I prefer Huskarls, because they can do basically the same thing. They'll win almost all of their combats as well, and assuming that you equip them the same way. You want them to... also, they've got, like, speed and pressure, which is what we're going for in this list. So I'm going to tweak this over. Not that the Chaos Warriors are wrong, but just I think I want more pressure in this version of the list. So we're going to go Helm of Many Eyes, which does give you stupidity, which would be sad if you failed it, especially with our Leadership 8 General. But, you know, is what it is. Flails are worse now. Flails are worse now. That's true. Oh, that's a good point, actually. Against, I forgot that you don't get it if you don't charge. Bugger. Alright, actually, yeah, no, that's fair. I guess we go with the Warriors. Alright. Your reasoning makes sense. I can't disagree. And, I don't think you went with Halberds, because Halberds also are just fine. I think you didn't give them the shields across the unit. I probably just would. You may as well get them a little bit tankier. They're probably not going to do much, but you may as well spell that extra 5 points. Or maybe you did give them shield. Maybe you did give them a shield. Who can say? You know, who can say? Had them over warriors at first as well. Yeah, in the old versions of Wolves, the last time I looked at Wolves of the Sea, I was definitely a fan of the Huskarls. I guess you could go... The problem is it's only Initiative 3, right? Yeah. So you need to go with the Helm. Because I was like, what if you give him a magic weapon as well? But, yeah. Okay, that's fine. So this all makes sense here. This all makes sense here. And it just comes down to the core. What do we want to go with? Honestly... I don't hate what you've gone for. I don't think I like the Berserks. But the Flail Horsemen I think are good. But let's make them 6s. And just make them real missiles. So that they have a lot of punch. And you don't worry too much about losing them because they're frenzied. Let's go with... Oh, we're definitely giving them shields. For the sake of a point. Trying to keep them a little bit more alive in subsequent turns. So then we just have 100 and... Is it just another unit of horsemen? Or do you want a backfield holder? I wonder if it's just like a... I know almost all of the list is pressure, but I think with double dragons and a Shaggoth and 3 units of Khorne horsemen, maybe we're okay with just going for like 20 marauders. It's not going to be 20 marauders, like 16 marauders. Unit champion, light armor shield, question mark. Oh god, that's too many points. We can give them skirmish as well to make them tankier. So let's go down to... We're going to lose a point somewhere. Oh, we can lose the musicians here. We don't need musicians. I don't know if you put that on or if I put that on. But they frenzied, so we don't care too much. 15. Now I have to put a musician somewhere. But I don't want it. We could also drop a favour of the gods there for points. But yeah, I think something like this. Like, this would probably be the version I'd start with. It's such a shame that you can't put Huskarls into core. I think that would be... Like, 1 unit of Huskarls would be really solid as a core choice. And I think... it would make it a more appealing list for people to take. Not necessarily that it would make it objectively better in terms of, like, do Warriors of Chaos need that much help? But I think it would just be a nice flavour add for the list, right? Yeah. Yeah, okay. I do like the double dragon that just turns off everything, though. There's no way to get the Banner of the Dark Moon in, is there? Ooh. Can you take Beastmen mercenaries? Yes. But it would be... If you could take Bestigor as mercenaries, I'd be tempted to take a mercenary unit with the Banner of the Warped Moon. But I think Leadership 6 on the Gore? Do you think it works? I do think it works. I like it. Yeah, Leadership 6. But it has Horde and Warband. Huh... Okay, hold on. Just thinking something through. Let's go... we need 3 ranks for leadership. Because that gets us up to leadership 9 on the BSB. On the banner holder. It's 200 points. I'm just wondering if this is like another thing that you can put in to try and make the matchup versus Cathay even better. Because you can stop them from flying, which makes them much less maneuverable. But I think... for the amount of points you have to spend to get them up to a good leadership, which is 3 ranks. So I guess you only need 15. I mean, I'd want more, but they're not scoring, so maybe you just take 15 and hide them behind terrain and pop this on turn 1 or turn 2. So they can't run away. This is interesting. 162 points. I don't know how we get 162 points out of this unit. We'd have to drop the Warriors and the Dragon Ogre. At which point, how do we win the challenge? We don't really, right? Warped Moon is unmodified leadership. Oh no, is it? Okay, never mind. Put that in the bin. Put that in the bin. That's a shame. I did think that there was maybe something there. Yeah. Okay, cool. No, I like this version of it. I think just double dragon, go first, turn off shooting Chalice of Dark Rain is a really solid premise. I think it still loses to Cathay. I'm not really 100% sure how you beat Cathay. But because you half the range of their shooting with Chalice, right? Let's just double check that one. The way to like counter this is to put your balloons at the front, because you're not really worried about the them being charged. Half range of missile weapons. Yeah, like you can, because you can't turn off fly, you can't stop them from shooting you. You stop the cannons, yeah. Stopping the cannons is big, but not stopping the balloons is a problem. I think this is probably the best version of the list. Probably worth testing. Beats Nuln, I think, pretty handily. Although it's a lot of maneuverability, so maybe they just sack off a turn and accept that their cannons are dead. It makes it very difficult. Cool. Yeah, no, I like that. I do like that. All right. I saw Jay in the chat, so we can go straight onto Jay's list. If you got enough T6 and can kill the cannons, then they're in trouble. Your dragon's a T5, unfortunately. As is the you've got a lot of T5 with regen, which is much worse against the ballistic skill shooting, unfortunately. But yeah. All right, let's have a look at Jay's list. What did Jay say? Did it fit into the notes here, or do I need to? Nope. List for a tournament in October. What are thoughts? The beast packs are larger, so the stag characters can hide from shooting next to them. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. So this is, I think, an interesting list. So 2 units of 70 points, 8 models, which is very cheap for elves. You're screening cavalry, because obviously these are war beasts, infantry and war beasts. So war beasts are cavalry, so they do screen the Glade Lords. I think that's an interesting premise. This unit here, I really like. True Flight Arrows just feels like a really solid one to go for on Glade Riders. Glade Knight and Musician is fine. I don't know if you need the unit champion here, if you're not attaching a character to it, but I'm not necessarily against it. It gives you some flexibility and a slightly better ballistic skill shot for a cheap amount of points. When it's 20 points for a Glade Rider, 6 points is much less of a payment. Again, here, very similar story. And then this unit, you've got Arcane Bodkins with the unit champion. I like your core setup. I think the core setup here is good. The Wild Riders, always give the Wild Rider shields, in my opinion. For a point, like when you're going from 27 to 28 points a model, you're increasing your points cost by what? Like 4 point something %, but you're increasing your survivability against light arms shooting by 100%, because you go from a 6-up save to a 5-up save, so you double the amount of armor saves you pass to like long bows, short bows, war bows. I think that's good. Also, 7 is 7's fine. I like 6, but 7's not a problem. And what else have we got here? 2 units of War Dancers is interesting. They are interesting. Like, so you're spending here 216 points plus 3 or 255 points here in characters. So, what, 255? You're spending almost a quarter of your list on War Dancers. And that is a choice that you can make, but I feel like Wood Elves are already struggling quite a lot in terms of getting the output there, that I think I quite like what you're doing with this unit here, the Oaken Stave and the War Dancers. I think the second unit is probably pushing the boat too far. Also, you've gone Oaken Stave, which is my brain's turning off. Yes, sorry. Someone else took the Orb of Midsummer. So Oaken Stave, for anyone who doesn't know, is the 3d6 discard. Dropping the lowest, which means you almost never get outclassed in the arts. You increase your range as well. So I like this wizard here. I don't think I'd go Battle Magic. I think I'd go Illusion. I'm not sure if you thought about it much or if you just left it default, but with Illusion, obviously you're taking the default Glittering Robes, so you're -1 to be shot or -1 to be hit, comboing it with the fact you're skirmish in combat as well with the Dance of Leok, you can be an additional -1. So you can put some okay defense on there for the fact that they are naked elves. So that's something to play around with there. Cool. Then you've got 2 Glade Lords. I like this Glade Lord setup that you've got for. So you've gone, both of them are on stags. This one here has got the Dragon Slaying Sword and the Sword of Might because it's an extremely common weapon, so you get to choose between your 2 magic weapons. Charm Shield and Orion's Favor. Orion's Favor just lets you reroll hits and wounds. Wild Rounded Kindred, giving you Furious Charge and Frenzy. Obviously pretty uncontrollable, but if you get the charge off you want into a dragon, this character has the highest chance out of everything in the game to wound, to killing blow a dragon. It's ridiculously high. I haven't done the numbers on it, but I want to say it's like an 80% chance or something. Because you're strength 4, you will be failing to wound on anything but a 6 into a dragon. So it's basically just reroll all failed hits and reroll all wounds that aren't a killing blow or a monster slayer. So yeah, I quite like that. Squishy, but effective. Then we've got the second one here, which is the Ogre Blade, Paymaster's Coin, Annoyance of Netlings, Wild Rider's Kindred. Is the Orion's Favor? I thought it was a... Oh no, it's not extremely common. Okay, this is fine. Again, super squishy. No ward save there, but I like it. I might be tempted, because you said you are using them solo, giving this Frenzy is maybe not worth the points. I'd maybe just go Aspect to the Bear. Like, if you're not joining this to the Wild Riders, I think going Aspect to the Bear, making yourself a little tankier if you're running solo, and being higher strength. It's not as much output as the Frenzy and Furious Charge, but strength 7 with a Ogre Blade does do some decent work there as well. I think that's probably the better loadout in my book. And that leaves us with almost 200 points. Normally I have the dogs around the characters so they can't just charge off. Yeah, that's fair. If I can leave it on if it's your preference. It's only 5 points difference. I just worry there's too much variance there. Like, this is a very easy unit to shoot. So if your opponent is bringing any level of small arms fire, they can just bait you out with, like if I'm playing against it with my exiles, I will just shoot the dogs with the 2 units of peasant bowmen and also the 2 units of yeoman, mounted yeoman, and then just frenzy bait both of them with mounted yeoman and have them run off the edge of the board or run off towards the away from the fighting. Surely in that instance your plan is just not to fail your saves. Well, tell me what save you got. Let's have a look at the stat lines. What are they equipped with? Light armor on the Beastkeepers. Nothing on the Deepwoods Hounds. So out of the 8 models, 2 of them have a 6 up armor save. Yeah. Here, I don't mind the Obsidian Lodestone. I do feel like I want something else. Probably it's going to be more Deepwood Scouts, I think, is probably the thing that I want to squeeze in to this list. Like, I feel like there's not enough melee punch in here, but I don't know how I'd fit more melee punch in. Like, the obvious thing to do is to drop this to 6 and duplicate it. So 223, so 195, duplicate that, get rid of this unit of scouts because we haven't got them. But then you've got 2 units of Wild Riders, and you don't really have great screening units. You've got the Beast Packs, but you've already said what you want to use those for. Like, you could go... You can't even go a 3rd unit of Beast Packs. Eagles don't fit in. And also Wild Riders. Like, I really like Wild Riders, but I think they have very specific targets that they want to go into. So, leaving it as 7 and then just going for more Deepwood Scouts, I think is probably solid. Can't you do the same in Wild Hunt? You can do the same in Wild Hunt. Yes. You'd lose the Shadow Dancer, which I think is something that Jay might want to have in... I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. No dancers. No. What? No dancers in Wild Hunt. I think. He said confidently. He was not confident. Maybe it's more Glade Riders. Honestly, I think something like this is about correct. it's the same with every Wood Elf list. I look at it and go, this feels like it's lacking punch. That's my big issue with it. Also, it's got 1,000,000 drops, which means that people are going to get to push towards you before you get to hit them. But I don't think there's anything we can do about that. No, there really isn't anything we can do about that. I guess we could also tweak we could make is go Arcane Bodkins, give them a standard, give them the Banner of Springtide, I think it is. Yeah, quick shot. So that way you've got some more like oomph to your list. I don't hate that at all. And then we have to shave, I guess, one model down here. Yeah, I think this is probably the version I'd go. Because if we're going a second unit of Deepwood Scouts with True Flight Arrows, I feel like the Glade Riders might want just a little bit more... something. A little bit more summit.
You do great work and I wanted to give you a little something to show my appreciation. Put it towards an AC for next year.
Thank you, Ozzy. That's really kind of you. Hopefully, yeah, I don't know. Maybe next year I won't be in this same spot. The problem that I have, obviously, it's coming into winter, or autumn, which is a season I do love. My room in this flat is southwest facing, so from about 11 o'clock I get the direct sunlight, so it becomes a proper sweatbox. It is difficult to deal with. And I have limited place to move to, despite the slander that the VIP section is trying to spread that I'm a YouTuber with means, always claiming that I'm in the Cayman Islands or something, which is funny. I just wish it was true. Autumn is the best season. I agree. It's fantastic. I need to have pumpkin spice. I should try a pumpkin spice latte. I've never tried it. Never tried a pumpkin spice latte, and I feel like I'm missing out. I think that would be something that I would increase my quality of life by knowing whether or not I liked them. It is hot in the Cayman Islands. I wouldn't know, Ed. I wouldn't know. Let's move on to... Let's look at another Warriors of Chaos list. No, I think we literally just looked at one beforehand. Okay, let's look at something else. Let's look at this Nuln list first. Jacob von Torkar. So we've got General Hans, who I've been informed I pronounce incorrectly. Someone tagged me on Discord to say, I liked your video, but I had one complaint about the Nuln video, and I was in the middle of doing something. I didn't respond. And then later on he said, you've pronounced General Hans's surname incorrectly, which I did laugh at. I was like, okay, this is a criticism that I don't mind being tagged for. Pumpkin spice is overrated. It doesn't have pumpkin. Yeah, that's usually how that sort of artificial flavouring goes. This lemon water that I have here on my desk, I've been drinking a lot of lemon today, actually. Does it have any lemon in it? Oh! Natural lemon and lime flavouring. All right, cool. We got a little bit of something. You can't bait me into saying it, because he was nice. People get annoyed at how I pronounce gyrocopter, gyrocopter, Eurocopter, so I deliberately try and say it differently every time it comes up. I need to start calling them Eurocopters, like Greek Euro, which is the correct pronunciation of Euro, not of gyrocopter. You live in Arizona and have a throw blanket while you watch it. It's chilly. Oh, I'm envious. Although it's nice and cool now. I'm a fundamentally broken person, though. I have my window open in winter, so I'm looking forward to the cooler months. All right, let's have a look at Jacob's list. I don't think Jacob put anything with their list here. So, General Hans, I do like General Hans. Then we've got a Captain of the Empire on a Griffin with pearl daggers and a charmed shield. And you know what? Hell yeah. I think this is cute as fuck. I love this. So pearl daggers give you plus D3 attacks. One of the main issues with trying to go with a combat captain is they only have 2 attacks. So strength 4, AP 1, 3 to 5 attacks is, and then you reroll failed hit rolls, is like, that's a decent amount of output for like a 200-point character. Now, it is pretty squishy. It only has a single 5-up ward save against shooting, because the Pearl Dragons are two-handed. But I don't hate this just flying around. Is pumpkin spice a salad? I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe if it had real pumpkin in it. So yeah, these two here, I do like. Then we've got an engineer with Von Trickshot's Wondrous Arquebus, which I do, again, quite like as a weapon. For 25 points, this is just really solid. You know, Strength 5, AP2, multiple wounds, D3. Doesn't take a -1 to hit long range. I'd like to see a Dragon Bow in there as well. Maybe, is there a way to sneak the Dragon Bow in? Maybe not. So the Priest of Sigmar, I assume, is going with the veteran state troops. That's fine. Got the twice blessed armor and the charm shield. I'd give it a great weapon anyway, you know, for the sake of just a little bit of oomph. And then Prayers of Sigmar, I assume we're going with either Hammer of Sigmar or Shield of Faith, depending on what we need. Good stuff. The Master Mage, this is where it's gone wrong. So you've got a Tome of Midnight, which lets you you get +1 to cast, and you know a number of spells equal to the level of wizardry. However, you get Loner, so you can't join a unit, which I think you may have missed given that you've taken Demonology. So we're going to have to drop that probably for a Lore Familiar, and instead of the Dispel Scroll, go with a Power Scroll, so you can actually get the spell off that you want. It is unfortunate, but I think if you're wanting a caster in Nuln, it probably does have to be a Lore Familiar caster. Then we've got the State Troops here, which is Ring of Tal. I quite like Ring of Tal. A once per game power level 3 Oaken Shield is pretty solid. Banner of this Free State of Nuln is not bad, but let's just go Griffin Standard. It's so good. I know it's a lot more expensive, but it's really worth the points. Also, I think we can drop Drilled here. I don't think Drilled is super important for them. And then we've got 10 State Troops with handguns, which is fine. It's probably more than we need, but also you're only at about 500 points anyway. 5 Outriders with no character join them in a grenade launching blunderbuss. I don't hate this. You know, it's cheap and cheerful. I'd probably go bigger. Well, I mean, you'll have seen the list that I put together, but I'd go with 2 of these and bigger, and then some supporting characters. Double Cannon, War Wagon, Road Wardens, Hellblaster Volley Gun, and then some Imperial Ogres. I think, I don't want to tweak this list too much. So this is not obviously the most cutthroat list in the world, but I think it's got a lot of stuff in here that you like and want to put in. So like the War Wagon is fine. I'd probably rather put the character on it as opposed to having it solo. In fact, maybe we just make that change. Like, let's do that. So we're going to put the character on the War Wagon. We'll get rid of the gun, and we'll give it the White Cloak. So we'll give it a ward save. Just that makes it a lot more of an efficient piece if you want to have the War Wagon. You get more wounds, you get a ward save on there. It's quite hard to shift. And it can still do its job with the Great Cannons as such. Then the cannons are fine, the Road Wardens are a little bit small, but also fine. Hellblaster Volley Gun's fine, and the Ogres are cute. So one of them, I assume the Captain, has got the Light Cannon, which is going to cause multiple hits. Then you've got single pistols here as well. This is not a super efficient unit, and you've given them some, like, a real mixture of weapons. But it's fun, you know. This is the sort of pet unit you like to see people putting in. It's one that's, like, it's not terrible. It's probably overcosted for what it does. I don't love it, but it's fun, so we're going to keep it in. We just need to then find 14 points, which is going to be a little bit difficult to do. So we're going to have to shave some points somewhere. War Wagons are so cool. I agree. That's another pet unit. Like, it's not bad. It's just, when you see it, like, you compare it to everything else that's come since. Like, oh, man. I was so high on this, just in terms of how cheap it is, and it didn't quite hit the mark, I think, for Empire. And then you see, like, the other character, Chariot, that came out in an arcade journal relatively recently, and you're like, oh. So that's what a good Chariot looks like. I still think the War Wagon's pretty decent. Reference standard pushy over the limit. Yeah, that's fine. We can make some tweaks here. Compare it to Lantern. I wasn't saying the dirty words. Okay, so I think what we do is, what do we want to shave off here? What do we want to shave off here? We need to cut something. what we can do is if we can get this down to 500, we could drop the repeater pistol down to just the normal bracer pistols that he comes with. You lose 1 shot at range, you gain 1 attack in melee. Yeah, I think that would be worth doing. So let's just assume we're going to do that, and then we're going to try and get this unit. Going to drop 12 points. What could we possibly do for 12 points? Oh, go down to 9 and then drop the musician. Balls, I can't do maths. Oh no, we need to drop 11 points. Wait. Oh, this is 8 points. Okay, because it says 7 there and then 1 there. Okay, okie dokie. That does make things a little bit more complicated. What have we got on the Outriders? 12 points is such an awkward amount to cut. Was there a useless musician in Road Wardens? Was there? No. I like musicians in Road Wardens because you're running away more, especially with Feigned Flight, but we're not going to be able to roll them in, I think. I think here, maybe also, we don't need this many great weapons. Like, maybe we drop the Morning Star. Maybe that's the way that we get close as well. Or one of the great weapons. That might be the tweak that we make. So what if we went down to 9 models for the State Missile Troops? Well, going down to 9 feels pretty bad. Okay, what if we go down to 24 instead of 25? I can live with that. Then we shave another 3 points. It could be here, but it's not going to be here. They auto rally with Feign. Yeah, of course I do. That's a good point. I still would put a musician in there because you might end up like terrafleeing or what have you, or panicking or something like that. But you do raise a good point. I think the great weapon's the easy thing to drop here. Yeah. Yeah, I think here I just drop 1 great weapon, and that gets you to a legal list. I think that's the easiest way to tweak it without having to completely rebuild, because we are shoehorning a few things in there, but I think that's okay. Cool. That is the nullness there. Lovely, lovely stuff. Okie dokie. Let's move on and let's have a look at some more just full speed violence. Let's go Heralds of Darkness because we know how much I love Heralds of Darkness. Now, this has got KHORNE in it, and I don't think this list needs KHORNE in it, unfortunately. I don't wonder how you'll pack your engineer into the already cluttered war wagon. That is difficult. Maybe he's commanding from inside somehow. I'm not 100% sure. It's a lovely model. I built 2 of them recently. Not for me, but yeah. Fluence, I have a Chaos Dragon with a Lord somewhere I can throw in. Yeah, it's usually the correct thing to do. It's just sad. Okay, so here, here you've got Mark of KHORNE. It's been FAQ'd that you have to pay for the Mark of KHORNE on the chariot as well. Let's just not go with marks on these aspiring champions. I don't think it's worth, like, the amount of points you spend to get there is not worth it. MR2's decent. I think I'd prefer the regen on them if we're going down that, the defensive route, but let's have a look. Is there anything else that we want to go with? This Exalted Champion is a BSB, great weapon, on a chosen chariot. Okay, this one, because it's more valuable, I think we definitely want to go with a triple save on it. Let's give it the Carrion Crow, Favor of the Gods. This feels like a good use of points here, and we'll make some cuts elsewhere. Like, Magic Resist is good, triple save is gooder. I'd give it a Halberd instead of a great weapon, because you want to be striking at initiative as well, given that you're theoretically countercharging. It's important to get those attacks in either at the same initiative step or before, if possible. Then you've got a level 1 wizard with Lore Familiar Demonology, Marcus Inch. I see what you're going for. It does give a lot of punch. Because you've got the... oh, okay. Banner of Rage. I think Frenzy is usually not worth it. There are some times that Frenzy's worthwhile. I would say it's definitely not on, you know, a 500 point brick of Chaos Knights that can already have Demonic Vessel cast onto them to give them a bit more oomph there. Icon of Darkness is nice though. Giving them -1 to be shot is pretty solid. And the fact they're undivided is less important because you've got a BSB in the list. Okie dokie, so that's good. Then we've got these two. I think, honestly, like, the more I look at it, the more I think get rid of both of these. And just go, if you're not going for a Sorcerer Lord, just go for 2 Exalted Champions and have 2 good chariots. I think I like 2 good chariots more than I like 3 mediocre chariots. So we go for the other regen item. Can give him Magic Resist, give him Favor of the Gods as well. And then he's going to be the general here. It doesn't need to be the sorcerer. The sorcerer's too low leadership as well, isn't he? Yeah. Oh no, same. Okay, let's make it the sorcerer then, because the sorcerer is a little tankier. Sorry, not tankier. Tankier is wrong. It is easier to protect. So we'll go halberd. We don't need to go shield. We've got the chariot here. Gifts of Chaos. Why is this more expensive? BSB. Okay, so we've got our 2 beefy chariots. Then we've got 1 Mark of Zinch, which is going here. Ooh, yeah. Would be nice to have Mark of Khorne on that. Oh, you had too many marks, I think, in the list anyway. So there aren't any Khorne marks in characters, but we do have 123 points left. So we could actually go for a cheap Aspiring Champion, Lance, Shield, Mark of Khorne, Chaos Steed, and a single Favor of the Gods. I don't hate that at all. That feels pretty solid. And then we could go maybe the Horseman. Get Khorne here. Always give these shields because it's so cheap to keep them alive a little bit longer. Calf Spears, Flails. I know you can't use it in combat, but that's fine. So this character here with Mark of Khorne would have to join something. Maybe we just put it in with the Marauder Horsemen, but they're pretty cheap for their Fire and Forget, aren't they? So where does it actually go? Becomes the question. So maybe we, and this is tweaking quite a lot, but maybe we go for a unit with some punch, which is a small unit of Mark of Khorne Knights, like 4 Mark of Khorne Knights plus an Aspiring Champion. Instead of the 5 Marauder Horsemen, it has quite a lot of oomph to that unit. Yeah, that feels like that might do the job. We've got the chariot in core. Chariot's fine. I don't love or hate the chariot. I find chariots to be relatively underwhelming. Chosen chariots are the exception, because obviously the lack of Swift Stride is less of a problem. And we're in a meta. Well, maybe I need to reassess chariots, because we're in a less of a fast meta, although we're still seeing Double Dragon a lot of the time. We would need to shave 7 points somewhere, and who can say where that would come from? Who can say? Really tighten points here. I don't really want to drop any Favors of the Gods here. This feels correct to go 2. And giving the Magic Resist is valuable. This has got Magic Resist. This unit wants Magic Resist as well, realistically. Okay, so we are actually more points over. That's actually good, because then we can just tweak. Because if we go here, suddenly it makes more sense. Yeah, going down to 9 Chaos Knights and then 4. Yeah, I think this this has changed your list a lot, so apologies for the fairly big upheaval. But I think that should be a lot more effective in terms of having punch and having the chariots that do stick around and do something. I'm not 100% sure on the special chosen chariots and the core chaos chariot, but it's hard to find things to spend the points on, frankly. Maybe just putting a warp fire dragon in is better, but that feels pretty dull and not within the theme of trying to make chariots work. You have all these models? Amazing. I'd love to hear how it gets on. Because yeah, I think this is fun. This is definitely leaning into the theme. If you want to make it better, I think dropping these two, dropping this chariot, because that's still, you still have to then find some points. Okay, so we're 62 points. So what? We're 342 points, which means you don't actually have to find that many points to put the Warp Fire Dragon in. You just have to maybe sack off the Aspiring Champion and do something different. But putting a Warp Fire Dragon in, losing the 3 like surplus to requirement chariots, maybe bulking up the knights a little bit, or like retooling the core, that might be better. Or maybe it's just Gigantic Spawn of Chaos, like 2 of those for 340. That's the same points as dropping the 62 points of core, and then these 2 here, like 2 Warp Fire, 2 Gigantic Spawn. Try it out versus Empire in a week. Good luck. Good luck. Hope it goes well for you. Hope you don't get shot off the board, but these 2 having a regen save will definitely help there. And this having Icon of Darkness for -1 for ballistic skill shooting means you're less likely to just fall over immediately to the Hellblaster. Make sure you're screening yourself with the Warhounds or something if they've got Hellblasters, because you really want to get in there for that punch. Cool, cool, cool. Good stuff. All right, sweet. That's a bit more punchy. I do love Heralds of Darkness, as you all know. Okay. Okie dokie. What are we up to? What do we got? We got a few other bits and pieces. Got a couple of Lizardman lists here. Let's have a look at Skoll's list. And this is Renegades. Going to Espot Toronto, looking for advice. Renegade rules, 2,200 points, but only 1,000 in characters. Okay. What we got here? Slan Mage Priest, High Magic. I am not a High Magic believer. I think it's elementalism. That's my first tweak. Disagreement with me if you like, but I'm not a High Magic believer on this character, or just in general. Saurus Old Blood. We've got Blade of Revered, Tsunaki, Talisman of Protection, Carnosaur. Yeah, this is pretty solid. This is a good, beefy Carnosaur choppy character. Then we've got a Cold One Scar Veteran. Ooh. And 5 Cold One Riders. Okay. With Drilled. Honestly, for like how many attacks they have, I struggle to hate Cold One Riders. They have a lot of downsides, but I think they're interesting. Double Bastillodon, Ancient Stegodon. So you've got a good ranged fire power core. Skink Skirmishers. 20 is interesting. I think I'd rather have them split. Scouts and Vanguard. I don't think I would go Scouts, because you're just giving up your +1 to go first. I think I'm just sticking with both of them having Vanguard and going like 2 units of 14 and then another unit of another unit of 12. Okay, actually splitting them up into 3 doesn't feel good with the amount of points you've got here. So I think we're going back up to, what was it, 20 and 20? Yeah. Temple Guard's good. Full command. I'd like to see some magic resist in there. This doesn't give you MR, does it? No. The Slan should probably have... Is it Calming Cogitations for the Dispel? Yeah, that's really strong. Just making it an absolute beast on the battlefield is very nice. We do have to shave some points somewhere. Oh, that was a pretty brutal cut. Hey, frenzy those cold ones, baby. That is an option available. The problem I'm seeing here is the blade actually worth the points. Like, is the juice worth the squeeze? It's okay, but it's just like ignores armor and ward saves, right? Just, I say. You've got 6 attacks at strength 6. ignoring armor and ward saves. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. But, like, is it 70 points good? Or 65 points good? Would I rather have that, or would I rather have Becalming Cogitation? I think I would rather have Becalming Cogitation, and then I'd just go a great weapon. I don't think it's worth it on the Carnosaur. Yeah. I feel like you've got enough output. And I think Becalming Cogitation is just so good that it's hard to justify losing. Also, we'll drop the shield there for a Charm Shield for 3 points. Always got to do it to them. Then we've got 10 points. More interesting on a Cold One character. Yeah. Is there anything that we're missing here? Jaguar Standard is not bad, but I don't think there's anything that I particularly want. Like, having the Sun Standard on the Temple Guard would be nice, actually. Like, maybe we go Sun Standard here, and then we drop 6 skinks to fit that in. Like, I don't hate that. Points are so tight. Yeah, absolutely. So we could go like this. Oh, I know we're losing a model for each, so we're down to 16 instead of 17. But I think having the unit champion just to give them a little bit of protection against solo characters charging them is not awful. Kindness to taste. Yeah, I think I like these tweaks. Obviously, you're not using the Charm Shield in combat, but when you get cannonballed, you'll thank me. -1 to hit on the Temple Guard. You've got Elementalism, so you can actually cast your spells there comfortably. I think I like Battle Magic most, but people seem to agree that Elementalism is correct. Just having the ward save on this unit is so important. Skinks, Bastillodon, Stegodon, Cold Rider. Yeah, I think this feels pretty solid without moving away from the core premise of the list. I'm not actually sure what I'd do if I did move away from the core premise of the list, but that's beside the point. Besides the point. Oh, it was nice to have a break into the jungles of Lustria. There is another Lizard list as well, which we won't look at yet. We'll come back to that one. Let's mix it up a little bit, you know? Mix it up a little bit. Not run Sun Standard on the cold one. Sun Standard being -1 to hit. No. I'd much rather have it on the having it here on the Temple Guard, because they're going to take, you know, if someone wants to get rid of 5 Cold One Riders and a champion, they're going to get rid of 5 Cold One Riders. 20 Temple Guard with Elementalism ward save, -1 to hit. That's when things start to get a little bit hard to shift. All right, let's have a look at. Oh yeah, I'm gonna look at this one, but I don't actually know how many changes I can make. So Tistic put a list in which is your Vres units. Thematic list only units from regions adjacent to your Vres allowed. Lothan units cheat. Game plan: big pack with a Sniper Lord, ancient Archmage in the center, bolt throwers on the far side. Rest tries to sneak and get flank charges, etc. So I don't know fluff wise what I'm allowed to put in. So I think we just look at it, don't change the units, and just look at efficiency tweaks. Like, immediately I hate this. Special white lines are not something I want to put in, but given the restrictions, I don't think we can change anything. Silver Helms are fine. I think this is decent. The archers in a detachment, spearmen with double archers, I think is okay. You're doing Lothan Seaguard, but you know, split up. I don't hate that. I would like to see these be slightly bigger so they can score even if they take some wounds. We're going to drop this to 14, I think. And then let's go up to 24 here and go up to 12 on both of these, and we'll find some points. Maybe we just go down to 6 on the Silver Helms, and we'll find 13 points. So this way, these two units have got some actual ability to score. This unit's not doing much of anything, but what are you going to do? Bolt throwers and a Sky Cutter are all fine stuff there. So then we've got Seaguard High Magic. Let's give it a If you've gone Seaguard, you get a free bow, right? Yeah. Why does it not come with a bow? Alright, we're just assuming it's got a bow. Opal Amulet and Silvery Wand. I don't like this loadout. High Magic as well. Again, I think this list would really benefit from Elementalism. So let's go at least one Power Scroll, and let's go Lore Familiar instead of the Silvery Wand. I think that's going to make a lot more sense. Oh, is this... Right, okay, this character seems to be broken. Let me just re-add it, because it's not working correctly. Let's go Seaguard. There we go, Warbow. And then we can go Lore Familiar. Honestly, 2 Power Scrolls is probably good. And that's still pretty cheap. We don't need to be a level 4 wizard. Yada yada. Which kingdom was this supposed to be plus adjacent? Yvres, I think is how that's pronounced. But yes, that works there. Then we've got the Noble BSB Battle Banner. Great weapon, full plate, shield on a griffin. Okay, this is cute. This is going to fly around, triple save, lots of static combat res. It will die relatively quickly, but I do like it. And then we've got a prince. Full plate, Reaver Bow, Potion Strength, Opal Amulet, Charm Shield, Pure of Heart. What's the Reaver Bow do? Let's remind ourselves. 40 points. So it can take 2 shots instead of 1. With no penalty. Strength +1. No AP. If we go Shadow Stalker, do you get... no. It's the rule that you get for the Sister of Avalon. Arrows of Isha. Like, if you could get that to give them AP and Armor Bane on the Prince, so this guy's just going to do 2 shots at an okay strength, but not do any damage with it, and you're spending 226 points on that. I just can't see that doing anything. Wait, hold on, it's a Prince as well, so it's 3 attacks. No, 4 shots. I guess since we're comboing it with the Archmage with Elementalism, it's effectively AP2. You could just give it, instead of that, just give it the Bow of the Seafarer. Reaver Bow 4 attacks. Yeah, I miscalculated. I see what you're going for. I don't like it. But let's leave it in. Let's just treat it as if it's going, you know, with the intent. It needs to have a melee weapon as well, so give him Halberd. And then we've got... Yeah, I think that's right. Naval Discipline, Rallying Cry. I think that's fine. Honestly, we'll give the Archmage Seaguard, and then we'll go Pure of Heart in this one, just to make the unit that's joined to immune to panic. You don't really need 2 Rallying Cries. Okay, and then we are 20 points over, so we can just drop 1 more in a Musician. And I think this is probably the best tweak I can make of this list, although I will say I don't fully understand the restrictions, and I'm not convinced it'll do well, but it is obviously, as you say, aiming to be a fluffy list. It is a themed list, so hopefully this serves you well, and it is tuned correctly for your requirements, and I hope you have fun with it. That's the main thing, eh? It is the main thing. Okie dokie. Ooh, I got a bruise on my knee. What have I been doing? Let's have a look at... Oh, yeah, here we go. Let's go for a Wild Hunt list. We have 3 Wood Elf lists, which is amazing. There's Wood Elves at the tournament that I'm going to tomorrow. Just one list, but it's Double Dragon, because it's 2,600 points. You can go Double Dragon and still have a Wizard, which I think is Solid. So, this is Wild Hunt from Sebastian, and Sebastian says, usual opponents are Vampire Counts, Orcs and Goblins, Chaos Warriors, with big infantry procs, with high static combat res, some cavalry, war machine support, level 4 wizards, and a lower level wizard. Okay. Cool. So, we've got some names in here as well. Great. So, we're gonna efficiency tweak this. So, we've got double Glade Lord and a low level wizard. I can get behind that, honestly. I don't mind that at all. So this character here, let's give them the juice. So we'll go Great Weapon instead of a Cav Spear, because you want to hit pretty hard. The Strike's Last doesn't matter. You're an elf. Then we're also going to give them just going to hit them with the classic loadout, you know? So we'll go with the Armor of Meteoric Iron, and we'll give them... obviously, there's vampires in there, so Resplendent Luminescence is already in use, so we'll not use that. Oh, that's already in use. Okay, so we won't go there. Give them Aspect to the Cat. Just make them a little bit better in challenges and give them more Armor Bane. Okay, 10 points too many, that's fine. Then we've got Shayla Bearclaw. So this is Light Armor, Shield, Dragon Slaying, Sword, Helm of the Hunt, Wild Rider. This is so many attacks. This is an unnecessary amount of attacks. I love that. Also, I feel like if you're... I think we're going to have to take a leaf out of Jay Breedy's list. So instead of going for Helm of the Hunt, which, like, I like what it gets you, we're instead going to give you Charm Shield, Sword of Might, so you do something against all of those infantry models that you're going to be seeing, and then Orion's Favor. This is just going to be a lot more consistent, and we can drop the shield as well there. Yeah, that feels solid. Befuddlement, Mischief, and Annoyance of Netlings. We maybe don't need the Annoyance of Netlings on this character, honestly. I think putting it here feels better in terms of facing off against enemy units, or maybe even drop it entirely, depending. We've got a level 2 Wizard, Elven Steed, High Magic Lore Familiar Power Scroll. Always with the High Magic. I don't think you need High Magic in this list. I think you would love... I actually don't know what you'd love. I actually don't think any of these are super important. I think Battle Magic is worth more. Like, you don't need Reserve Move and Ethereal on a horse unit, because you've got Reserve Move on these anyway. Like, are you giving it to the Wild Riders? I guess you could give it to the Wild Riders. But then you've not gone for a Kindred that lets you join them, so you're not giving it to the Wild Riders. I think Tempest for difficult terrain and disruption. Okay, I appreciate... okay, no, you play against Orcs and Goblins, so you've got to deal with Night Goblins. Okay, suddenly I'm more on board with this. It's a lot of points to give you Fanatic Protection, but I guess it does that very well. Okay, sure. We are 8 points over, so I think we're just going to drop the Aspect of the Cat. It's nice, but it's not necessary. Sure. Okie dokie. Then we're going to tweak the core. Honestly, I'm not enamored by Double Sister of the Thorn. I think we drop one unit. I don't think they're bad. I think one unit's fine. And I think the Warhawk Rider's here with Furious Charge, and let's give them True Flight Arrows, because otherwise they'll never hit anything. I think this is fine. This is solid. But here, yeah. Let's go like 2 units of 6. And then we're going to pump up to 8. Banner of Springtide for Quick Shot. Arcane Bodkins. I like this. This is a unit we've seen already. Banner of the Wild Hunt. I don't think this is necessarily a good purchase. I think this unit's not actually going to do much. If you get rid of those, give it Reserve Move, and just go for a second shooting unit, frankly. I think this is going to be better. True Flight Arrows and just 2 of those. Like, this, you've got some shooting core. 1 unit with ignoring modifiers, 1 unit with Quick Shot and AP2. Double Wild Riders that are going to punch harder. The Warhawk Riders are still a good screening unit. The Sisters are an okay screening unit. I think this is the best tweaked version of your list. It didn't take very long to get there, because I like the core parts of the list that you put in there. And also, I'm a huge fan of Wild Hunt. I've written so many Wild Hunt lists. Always have a good time playing with or against Wild Hunt. I don't think the list this weekend is Wild Hunt. In fact, I've still got it open. Let me just double check in the background. All of my tabs have gone inactive. Curse you, efficiency measures for Google Chrome. Okay, so where did I put it? It would be so much easier just to... Yeah. Oh, no. Matt is playing Wild Hunt. In fact, let me just... Is this going to show, or do I have to be logged in this tab in BCP? In which case, I will give up on doing so. I hope I can load this list. It might not like it, though. Is it going to say you've got to be logged in? It is. Okay. Screw you, Best Coast Pairings. And your reasonable monetization scheme. Or I feel it's reasonable anyway. But I go to a lot of tournaments, so that's fine. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah. All right, sweet. This is a fun one. I do like this. And I think the like double Wild Rider core with Warhawk screening, I find very effective. I like another unit of Warhawks here instead of the sisters, and then we just make some cuts. But I think overall this is some good choices. And shout out to Jay Breedy, who I've stolen this build from. I do like it. I hadn't really... Like, I've seen the Sword of Might and Dragon Sword combo before, but until I, you know, all of it's layered on top of each other with Orion's Favor and the Charmed Shield as well, you kind of go, oh, wait, hold on, there's a lot here. I feel pretty good about that. Oh, I also wouldn't mind some, whatchamacallums, Beast Packs, but I don't think they're necessary. They'd just be nice to have. What have we got left? We've got some Wolves of the Sea, we've got some more Elves, we've got some Dwarves, some Beastmen, and some Lizardmen. Coming off the back of Elves, let's have a look at Elf Slayers, or Elves Slayers. Royal Clan list. Sir, that is racist. How dare you? In my house. You know I'm an elf lover. Coming back to clans after a while, feedback would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so we've got a Royal Clan list. I will say Royal Clans is probably one of my weaker spots, if I'm being just, you know, genuine. I think my dwarf knowledge is less good than most other armies. But let's have a look here. So we've got the General with a Great Weapon, Full Plate, Shield Bearers, Grommel, Preservation, Smiting, Rune of Passage. This is just the perfect loadout. Rune of Passage gives you move through cover, you had 5 points spare. Grommel gives you a 2-up save. Preservation makes you immune to killing blow and multiple wounds. Smiting gives you d6 damage on your Great Weapon attacks. You're on the Shield Bearers, so you get the extra 3 wounds. Plus 20 points, like 20 points per wound, is an nuts economy for making this a really tanky character, and I don't begrudge them it, but it's just wild to see, and it's an interesting comparison as to why you can't like compare between books, because everything's so different. Then we've got the Thane here with shield, handgun, bursting flame, rapid fire, rune of accuracy, rune of passage, so double rune of passage. I do like that, so you can give both units move through cover as need. Runesmith, BSB, Master Rune of Grugni for the ward save, Rune of Battle, Rune of Courage. Again, Rune of Courage, super important. I have terrored off, you know, about 1,500 points of my opponent's army because, you know, he's playing dwarves and he just feels like he's always going to pass the terror tests. Full Plate, Shield, Rune of Calm. Rune of Calm's disgustingly good as well. Anyone who only tangentially knows dwarves, it's a bound spell power level 2, so you're casting it at the level of a, you know, top level wizard. It goes off on an 8 or an 11. If you cast it on an 8, enemy wizards within 18 inches of this model must increase the casting value by 2 of the spell, plus keep in mind you have magic resist on all your units. If it's an 11 or more, within 36 must increase that casting value by 2, and it lasts until the next start of turn subphase. So depending on positioning, and obviously you don't move very far, you can cast this spell, this bound spell, and then move into range of them and they can't do anything about it. It is good. I really like it. Iron Drakes, I don't know, is it 20 Iron Drakes? I feel like it might be 2 units of Iron Drakes. I feel like that's better. And I think this is too many Doomseekers. I think I like 1 Doomseeker. Like, let's go 1 Doomseeker that's loaded up a little bit. The problem is if you go too heavy into it, you want to go under your draw amount, because if your opponent plays like full null deployment and you have to run the Doomseeker towards them and they just don't let you interact, then you lose if you have too many points in Doomseekers. So you want to avoid that. So this, I'm assuming 150 points is the cutoff. So I'm going to go 145 at maximum. Alric the Mad is fun because it means you just don't take, you don't get armor saves. And since we're going a few more points, we're going to go Rune of Endless Battle here, which I think is really solid, which gives you every time you do a wound with an attack, you make an additional attack. And then we've got up to 10 points. Is Warrior's Rune +1 attack? Some weapon skill. Oh, I'd like to go one more attack there. That would synergize really well, but I don't want to go 150 points. I don't want to go blazing. No. Okay. Cool. Well, that still leaves us 80 points here. So I think what my recommendation would be is maybe we drop the full command here. We just go... And this is maybe wrong. This is where I'm a little bit less certain of my choices, but going something like 2 units of 12 like this, so you've got more spread output. Bugman's Cart is good, give you movement, and then here we just need to shave 12 points somewhere. I don't want to take it out of the characters, I think they're fantastic. Maybe just going down to 16 here, this feels pretty decent. Hand weapon shields, heavy armor drill, something. Yeah, I like this. I think this feels like a solid Royal Clans list. I'm just not 100%. I'm not saying it with my full chest, you know? I'm not 10 toes in. I'm only moderately confident on this. But also, you're called Elves Slayer, so maybe I'm deliberately giving you bad information because you deserve it. Who can say? Who can say? Oh, I don't want to jinx it, but after the camera broke 3 times early, it seems to be back up and running. So, good stuff, camera. Good stuff, camera. Okay, so going from... let's just sandwich Elf Slayer with elves as a fuck you. So let's look at the Beltane Bros list. Why did you say that? Yeah, I know, right? Oh, I've only just noticed that my blue jacket is blending into the background as well. That's funny. I assume that happened with the change of the light. Oh, well, I didn't start with it on, but it got a little bit cooler. Okay, so... Beltane Bros. Beltane Bros is probably also going to Espot Toronto. I might be wrong, but Glade Riders play an avoidance game, taking shots at core/chaff to reduce unit strength while also supporting the dragon. Warhawks screen Wild Riders, both use the mobility to find favourable engagement. WWR for some zone control around... Yeah, okay, so the Wildwood Rangers are... I don't think they do anything. So Wildwood Rangers, let's just look at what they are, and then I'll talk about why. I mean, I think you all know why I don't like them. So what they are is they are an elf, so they're T3 with 1 wound. They've got light armor, so they've got a 6-up save. They have no other defenses. However, they're immune to psychology, and they've got Guardians of the Wildwood. So if they're in base contact, and it's only models, so if you're not in base contact, like models in the 2nd rank or not in base contact. So say a dragon charged you in the front and 4 models are in base contact. All of the other attacks, whether it's off to the left and the right and behind, don't have multiple wounds too. So that's a really big downside. So very few models are actually getting plus attacks into it. Plus they just challenge. Plus they're immobile. You know, it's a unit strength 5, sorry, a movement 5 infantry unit. It's just not going to do anything. Anyone who has the thing that this is good against, like this isn't even particularly... This is good against Jabba Slythes and, you know, that tier of unused monster that you just don't see. And I know Belting Bros is looking at a more competitive style list because I have done coaching with them previously, so I'm not just making assumptions and saying don't take this unit, this pet unit. That's why there's a difference in tone here in terms of whether I think this is worth taking for them. So it's a non-core infantry unit, and if you're taking infantry, in my opinion, it has to either be ranged so it can affect the game, have some sort of ridiculous mobility in it, so you know you're doing some Steed of Shadow shenanigans, but even then I still don't think that's worth doing, or it has to score, which makes it core. Ideally, it does 2 or 3 of those. This unit, I think, just doesn't do anything, unfortunately, so I'm going to remove that one there. I do like Warhawk Riders screening the Wild Riders, though. I'm very on board with that. So we can do more of that realistically. Then we've got a dragon here, great weapon, forest dragon. Great, love this. This is a fantastic loadout for the dragon. 10 out of 10. Then we've got the Glade Lord, Shield, Great Stag, Ogre Blade Orion's Favor. I think this is still good. Like, this hits pretty hard. I might be tempted to give it, if you're going whole hog, giving it the Muster of not Muster of Malevolence, Befuddlement of Mischiefs. Oh, you've got it on the Spell Singer. Oh, you've got it on the Spell Singer because you're trying to do. What are you trying to do? I guess you're trying to. You were trying to make the Brick of Cavalry better, so we're going to take it off here because I don't think you need to go with it on this character. Giving the Befuddlement of Mischiefs to this character makes a lot more sense in my mind. So, I mean, you're going to strike first anyway because your strike's first, but weapon skill, meaning that you're always hitting on 3s. You've still got the reroll from the Orion's Favor. I think this is a pretty solid, choppy character. It can go in and your opponent's got like a Strike's Last Aura. So, for example, if you go in, you're only initiative 6, and a Chaos Lord, I believe, is also initiative 6, and they have an Ogre Blade. This means the Befuddlement and Mischiefs means that their Strike's Last cancels your strikes first, then you hit them at the same initiative, or before them because they're -1 initiative. Yada yada. Anyway, I think this is solid, and then we've got this character, which now no longer has a home, so it has to go on a horse, and I think, obviously we don't need Eternal Kindred now. Magic on there. Why? What was the use for high magic with the Orb of Midsummer? Was it for is it for Drain Magic? I really don't value Drain Magic. I don't think that's super useful. Like, I'd be tempted to say a more useful way to play this would be something like a Ruby Ring of Ruin, level 2 battle magic caster, so you're hoping to roll a second fireball, or you could go Illusion for -1 to hit, but it's going to join some Glade Riders that have reserve move anyway, so I don't think you need that. Something like this I think is probably better. You could also give it Resplendent Luminescence on here, but I think this is absolutely fine. It's just a shame there's no law that you can take a magic missile from here. I guess there is technically a magic missile in Flock of Doom. How bad is it? Yeah, it's pretty bad. I guess it's better than it was. If I rolled Curse of Cowardly Flight and, I don't know, Pillar of Fire, maybe I'm swapping one of those to Flock of Doom. Yeah, I'm not happy about it, but I think it's got more value there. Okay, so we've got the 8 Glade Riders, Standard Bearer, Musician, Banner of Springtide, Reserve Move, Swift Shift. Let's give them Arcane Bodkins. I think you may as well, if you're ignoring, if you're going with Quick Shot with the Banner of Springtide, I think Arcane Bodkins are the correct choice in terms of actually having output, and then the other squad having True Flight Arrows, I agree with. And let's just make sure we're going up to 8 here for efficiency choices. I think that is good there. Cool. Wild Riders. I think this unit of Wild Riders is too big. I'd rather see 2 units of 6 like this, and then see 2 units of 3 like this. I think this is a more efficient way to play the Wild Rider / Wild Rider screening game. I think this is pretty solid. And that way we're 186 points over, so we'd have to drop some points. I guess something like, oops, I tried to delete a unit, and instead I added a unit. 20 points over. Oh, god damn it. I'm going to go back down to 7, even though I just said that I really like 8s. Yeah, okay, something like that, I guess, is probably the tweaks that I'd make. So that's kept it, I keep going to game view. That's kept it mostly the same, but we've just made some efficiency tweaks, and we have got rid of the big unit of infantry that I think, unfortunately, will not be doing much of anything. Just a quick reminder, even though I did curse my camera, it's still working. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. What have we got left? We've got Wolves of the Sea, we've got Beastmen, we've got Lizardmen. Now, I think we should go for a Chaos Sandwich. I think that's the best way to do things. So let's start off with Beastmen, and then we can go for Lizardmen. We can round it out with some more Wolves of the Sea. You know, go for a full Chaos Sandwich. So, Beastmen. Ryloth said, had some notes here. My first time making a competitive list. Don't see Doom Bulls too often as general, so I thought it'd be more interesting than a Beast Lord to fill the core with Minotaur. I really like the Doom Bull. I think the Doom Bull is the correct choice if you can fit it in. The reason you sometimes don't see a Doom Bull instead of a Beast Lord is just how many more points it costs. But you can put it into the gore, and you're very happy doing so. Like, you can take Minotaur herds. I probably wouldn't, but the Doom Bull can just join into the Gore Herd. So let's tweak this list. Okay. So. Let's just go. Hold on. Let me just make sure there wasn't anything more with the text that we had there. I want to fully understand where we're at with this list. Okay, so in terms of making a fully competitive list, I'd make quite a lot of changes. So I would get rid of this Minotaur herd, and I think unfortunately Minotaur's not super effective. Dragon Ogre Shah attacks, I think in 1.5 don't actually do all that much, and then the Shaggoth I would get rid of as well. It's not bad, but it's not the most efficient. So if we're going purely competitive, and as always, use as much or as little of this as you'd like. It's just because you're mentioning that you're writing a competitive list. This is the direction I'd go with a competitive list. So we'd go, double Gigantic Spawn of Chaos instead of one MR2 Shaggoth. So the Shaggoth with MR2 is it's plus 40 points from here, right? So it's 275. Or for 340 points, you can have the double spawn. And I think the double spawn is just significantly more effective, unfortunately. In terms of the characters, Doom Bull's going to join the Gore Herd. Let's go a little bit bigger here. Totem of Rust is fine. I don't love it, but you can go that direction if you want. If you go that direction, instead of going, you've put loads of saves on here, and I understand that this was not necessarily intended to join the Minotaurs originally. Sorry, it was intended to join the Minotaurs. If you're going Rust, then the build that I'd recommend would be something along the lines of Talisman of Protection, Meteoric Iron, and then you just go... Do we need anything else? You could keep him pretty cheap, honestly. You could just go Great Weapon and not worry about the shield, and then you wouldn't need the Gnarled Hide. Pelt of Midnight's fine, but you don't need to put it on here. Like Gouge Tusks, something like this. No, you don't need money. Like, this is a cheap Doom Bull. I think I'm probably not thinking Totem of Rust on that unit, so instead of that, let me just show you what I would be looking at, which is more in line with the sort of build that you'd put together. So we'd go full plate Chaos Armor, and then let's also go... why can't we go Pelt of the Dark Young? Oh, because I've also got something else on here. So full plate, and then Pelt of the Dark Young, like so. No, we don't even need to. We can go Heavy Chaos, Pelt of the Dark Young, and where's weapons? Scimitar of Skultar. Scimitar's a really good item. So it's Strength User, so Strength 6, AP -1, Armor Bane 1, multiple wounds 2, but you can layer that with some good stuff. So right now, we've got a 5-up save becoming a 4-up save from the Pelt of the Dark Young, but we can layer that with a shield, getting to a 3-up save. Then we also go Gnarled Hide, which gets us to a 2-up save there. So that's why we've gone Heavy Chaos Armor instead of the full plate, and the Pelt of the Dark Young gives you the magic resist that you've put into your list in a couple of places, so it looks like you value, and I like it as well. Gouge Tusks as well goes really well with this, so you get plus AP1 on your attacks, which means that the Scimitar of Skultar suddenly becomes Strength 6, AP2, Armor Bane 1, multiple wounds 2, which is just a really good weapon. We can drop the Great Weapon here. So this is quite expensive, but it's a very good character. Then we've got the Wizard here. Hag Tree Fetish, heavy, full plate Chaos Armor, Elementalism. I like this. I think this is good. Typically, you see it either on a chariot or in a unit or something. I would be tempted, and I've seen this do pretty well. You drop the full plate down to Heavy Chaos Armor. You still, 5 up, 5 up is still pretty solid. It's the Ward save you're taking it before more. And then you also take And this is not, like, necessary, but I do like this, and I think it's a fun way to play the character while also still being strong. Where's that? There we go. Flying carpet. Fly 8. Just get to fly around. I think that's really solid. If you're doing that, also go Uncanny Senses. Gives you +1 to your initiative, which gets you to initiative 5. So from 4 to 5. And then if you're going to be overrun, there's a rule called evade or evasive, something like that, which means that you take an initiative test with lone characters and you can move out of the path of the unit that's going to overrun into you. Then we've got the Wargore here, BSB, Great Weapon, Shield. Oh, yeah, you're on a Chalice Start Grade. That's fine. And then Slug Skin. This is a fine loadout. The Chalice has to go somewhere if you're taking it, and I do like the Chalice. Then we've got a level 1 Wizard, Demonology. Now, this character is good. I really like this character. I think if you're taking one... Hello, Stumpy. How you doing? If you're taking this character, I think giving it the Jagged Dagger is really nice. So the way the Jagged Dagger works is you can sacrifice one model, and you get +1 wound. Obviously, you're only sacrificing, like, a Gore or an Ungor, but, yeah, big fan of that. And honestly... I think 2 of these is good. So, obviously the second one can't have the Jagged Dagger, but the second one can have a Power Scroll. So this gives you a lot more punch to your, your output there. We do need more points in core. We've got plenty to fill in. So, something like 25-ish gore is about right. Magic Standard, I like a War Banner on them. It's cheap and cheerful. They have open order instead of close order, so getting that +1 combat res I think is quite nice. Additional hand weapons or shields, purely up to you. I flick between the two. I don't know what my preference is. Then let's go some units of Ungor, and these are really nice to screen your characters with, like the Brave Shamans and the Great Brave Shaman. So a couple of units of 14, we'll go half horn, and we'll give them short bows, and we'll give 1 unit ambush, and then we'll put 1 of these with ambush as well. Oh, 10 points too many. We won't do that. Never mind. We're already capped on character points. Okay, so in that case, I still like giving it ambush, so you can come in the back lines if you need to, and we're 11 points shy, so I think it's going to be, another Razor Gore here, and then just rounding out the points here, something like 2 more. And this is a pretty solid Beastman list. Now, I am going to ping the timestamp for this, because I've changed a lot. I have changed your list significantly, so like I say, use as much or as little as you want. Hopefully the talking through the decision making was helpful in terms of working out whether or not you want to go with the decisions. Discussion. So I think instead of me just giving you a list, hopefully you'll watch this back if you're not here now, and be able to use that to shape what you want to do with your list. All right. Perfect. We are on to another Lizardman list. And this is Justinian 96T Lizardman. Lizardman list for a 2-day tournament, non-legacy. I have no illusions about winning it all. Going 3-2 would be a success. My collection is pretty extensive, so feel free to make any changes you would recommend. Okay. Cool. So this is, it said non-legacy. I think you meant non-renegade, so it's just a legacy list, given that it says you've got Saurus Warriors here. So, double Bastillodon. I do like the Bastillodon for the magic missiles. People who haven't seen them, this is worth looking at because it's pretty wild. Now, it's you cast it on a 9, so you're only getting it off just over 50% of the time because it's bounce spell level 2. But it's 24-inch range, 3d3 hits, strength 5, AP 2, which is pretty spicy. I'd like a third one of these, ideally, but I don't know if we've got points for it. Core, we've got a big brick of Saurus Warriors with a Luckstone. That doesn't feel worthwhile. Yeah, single failed armor save. We'll get rid of that. It's just give him a Charm Shield. It does a very similar thing, but better. Shield Wall is good. Hand Weapon Shield, full command. Otherwise, really nice there. No Magic Banner is a shame, but Saurus can't have them. The Skink Skirmishers, I'd give them Vanguard. For 5 points, just getting that mobility up the board, I think is really solid. Elena Martin, your tragic cart list. I'm glad you were here for it. Hopefully Hopefully that was helpful. Right. So we got a Saurus Old Blood with a great weapon, Glyph Necklace, Armor of Silver Steel. So this is a solid build. Glyph Necklace is MR2 and a ward save. Armor of Silver Steel is a 3-up armor save. There's some basically fairly generic set loadouts that you can go with for your Carnosaur characters. This is one of the better ones. I do like this. And, you know, as previously mentioned, great weapon is just a lot of output there. You are welcome, Skulls. I hope it is helpful. Double Carnosaur, I think, is just objectively correct. If we're talking about, you know, trying to play Legacy Lizardman, and this is, again, just a great loadout. This is the second one that I would recommend going for. Halberd instead of Great Weapon. I guess it's just for points. I'd rather have the Great Weapon. But I guess it's less terrible. What else we got here? Skink Chief, Ripperdactyl, Calf Spear, Charm Shield, twice. I guess you've got nothing to screen it. This feels very risky. I'm assuming that this is used for getting into the backlines and trying to hunt down artillery, which it does an okay job at. And it is a character drop, so it is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drops for this list. So, okay. It's not awful. And then the Skinks going level 1 illusion for glittering robes for the Skink skirmishers. Ooh. It's a non-Vanguard character. So the Vanguard does lose some utility there. You can still Vanguard it and then just march the priest into it. That's not awful. And it gives you flexibility in deployment. I think I'd still pay the 5 points for it. Although I understand why you might not, seeing the Skink Priest. I almost wonder if a second Skink Priest for illusion is better than a Skink Chief. No, it's not, because it's 0 to 1 per points, and you can only take... Oh, God, the Lizardman PDF is so just depressing. I actually don't know that I want to make any tweaks here. Like, I'd like to put another Bastillodon in. We'd have to source 175 points. You don't have that in core. We'd have to drop the Chiefs here. Is it going into the Saurus? I guess the Skink Priest could go into the Saurus, actually. That's a good shout. I guess it's flexible. Yeah, I don't hate it in the Saurus Warriors. It's going to die very quickly, but yeah. I don't think I tweak your list very much. In fact, did I tweak it at all? I think I didn't tweak it at all. So I'm just going to go at just 2 hours and 4 minutes discussion. I think I just went through and praised your list, to be honest. Oh no, I did make a slight tweak. I gave them Vanguard. Cool. But yeah, very, very minimal changes there. I think this is pretty close to the optimal version. I like the Chiefs. I think they're interesting. I don't know if I'd spend 178 points on them. I don't know that I wouldn't. I think you probably have a lot more experience using them than I do, so if you think they're worth going in your list, I'm just gonna trust your judgment on that one. 4 points for a Calf Spear feels a little bit rough. You could give them great weapons or something, that'd be nicer. Because they're what? Strength 4, weapon skill 3, weapon skill 4. Yeah. They're fine. I can see the job that they would do. Got Calamity's list here, which is just playtesting at the moment. Keen on feedback/suggestions. Cheers, thanks, Ed. A double thank you. Big fan of that. So this is a double dragon list. Already on board. This is pretty similar to the list that we looked at for Goldfire. Okay, sure. Is there anything in here? I tweak the character loadouts, I think. Great Weapon is correct, but I think Marker Nurgle and an extra Favor of the Gods is... Like, I'd find the points for it, you know? I don't value the second Dragon Ogre. I think one of them is fine. I don't think the second one adds much. So here, Marker Nurgle, and then 2 more Favors of the Gods. The Favors of the Gods are... Like, if you only run one, you'll find that you don't get to use your rolls without being very risky. And you're only leadership 8 on these characters. So, yeah, I think let's juice those up a little bit and drop the Dragon Ogre as well. Okay. This is good. I like this. This is just an adaptation that I think we're going to see popping up more and more. Then we've got, I think, so this Chaos Warrior is obviously in for winning the challenge. So let's just make sure that it does. We're going to give it the Strikes First Helm. We're going to give it Mark of KHORNE for an extra attack. And let's not worry about halberds. Let's just go hand weapons. Because 3 attacks at strength 4, AP 1 should be enough to win a challenge with basically any infantry infantry model. And if not, you've got a 3-up armor save. So, yeah. And then, Berserks. Going heavy on the ambushes, I do like. Keeping the drops low. Not that it matters, but I guess sometimes you just know that you might not win. No, this warrior should always win the challenge, on average. Mark of KHORNE. It's just full violence. I worry with this sort of call, but you've got a lot of pressure and you're just going to push the dragons forward, so... I worry about it more when we're looking at, like, the... what are they called? The skin wolves, because the only way a dragon can catch the skin wolves is by baiting frenzy here, winning combat on your opponent's turn, and then using that to turn around and face the skin wolves after they've got out of your charge arc. So, yeah, we're literally just 8 points or 9 points under. Is there anything we want to tweak here? This one, I mean, obviously we can't get... I think it's probably just a Marauding Horseman like that. Yeah, that'll do. I'd like to see shields on them, but I'm not going to play around with the core to that degree. Also discussed. Gold finds. Very similar list in the stream. Alright, that takes us to the end of a Fix My List. Whew. I feel like 15 lists is a good amount to go through. Gives me a chance to do a little bit of, you know, bantering at the start of the stream and still finish in a pretty reasonable time. I feel like 2 hours on a Friday night is a good amount of time. But I hope you all have a good weekend. And I will be playing Bretonians. I'm really excited to put them on the tabletop. I've only actually played about 4 or 5 games with my Brets in person. I've played a few times online as well. I've got a decent amount of play with Bretonians. I've played against Bretonians a lot as well. But actually putting them on the tabletop, my painted peasants, I didn't have time to do my bases, so you're probably not going to be able to see very well. God, that looks so brown. Basically, there's 3 different drab colours on there. I just wanted to go for realism and keep it like lots of neutral earthy tones. So I've got yellow, because my heraldry is all going to be painted on yellow. And then I've got like a yellowy brown, a browny brown, and another brown. 2 different shades of brown and a yellowy brown. I think they look pretty solid. I think they are nice and cohesive. But I do need to finish painting the skin on them because I was working through the day and didn't have a chance to finish off the models. So just need to do the last steps on the peasants that I didn't finish up previously. All right. Well, hope you all have a lovely weekend. And I will catch you all later. Tuesday, I guess, another podcast.